Well, hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joanne. I'm a law student from Australia, currently on a study break, well earned, although I'm currently working on an employment issue at the moment, and yeah, putting all of my study to really good use. I hope you're all well. Hello, Totally Jane. How are you? So I said I was going to be live. I actually had fallen asleep. So it is 8:48 on Wednesday night. I'm just tired all the time at the moment. So I'm more than I am struggling a little bit, but that's all right. We are doing okay. And yeah, and look, I know it wasn't Halloween. I wasn't on for Halloween, but I thought I'd put the Halloween stuff up. So we want to look at the stuff that's happened over the last little while, particularly in relation to the filings with 7M. And I apologize that my computer keeps freezing up. It is painful. It drives me bonkers. It's an old computer, a bit like its owner. Oh, dear. Deary me. If you haven't seen me for a while, there's been a few changes to me. First of all, I've now got earrings. Yes. Call it a midlife crisis. Or whatever you want to call it. Yes, no tattoo. No, I didn't get a tattoo. No, just got the ears. I just got the ears. I mean, that was bad enough. I mean, I did joke. I said to her, while we're at it, why don't we go for the whole? The interesting thing is that my daughter actually took me to get my ears pierced. So it was a pretty, it was an interesting experience, having my daughter taking me to go get my ears pierced and saying, it's not going to hurt, Mum. No, it did. She lied. She lied. It did hurt. But, that was a really good bonding time. Yes, I got my ears, and I just got my hair done today. So, I just thought, interestingly enough, that while we're talking about earrings, this is my third pair of earrings. I had them done under a month ago, and they keep falling out. So I went to a place the other day and I said, look, I need earrings. And so they've put them in. So far, I think these are nearly been this time. So it's taken me a while to get used to them. So, yeah, so that's all good. But I have to say, the person that did the earrings, she thought it was very cute that her daughter would take her mother to go get her ears pierced. But yeah, it was funny because I sort of said it as a joke. She said, what do you want for your birthday, Mum? And I said, wouldn't mind my ears pierced. And I said it as a bit of a joke. And then the next thing I get this message to say, well, Mum, I booked it. No getting out of it. We'll pick you up and we'll get it done. Whoops. So anyway, it's hard to believe we're into November already. November is court month for Katie Joy. There is a court date on the 15th. Oh, wow, she took you for your second tattoo? Yeah, I haven't got that far. My daughter's got one. But I haven't got one yet. So on the 15th, there is going to be a hearing over any outstanding discovery. Now, interestingly enough, there's some very interesting things that's happened. The 30th was the deadline. It's snowing. Wow. Yes, we've got really weird weather. We're in spring, but the mornings are really, really cold. And then quite often the afternoons are warming up, although today was still on the cold side. But yesterday was really cold. I mean, I'm leaving 7 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays. I'm out the door by 7 a.m. in the morning. And when I leave home, I need to have a thick coat on because it's cold. And then when I come home, when I'm leaving work, it's like, why did I bring my jumper with me? My jacket. I didn't even need my jacket. So it's really bizarre. How are you, Tracy? If you're just joining us, welcome. Yes, it's been a while since I've been live. So, things are a little bit crazy. So this is what's talking about crazy. So this is where we are at the moment. I'm just going to take myself out of this picture. All right. I'm going to just remove the chat overlay because I want to make this as big as I can for you. Now, this is the case. This is the register of action. So there's a motion hearing on the 15th of the 11th, 2023 at 10 a.m. So November is court month for, as I said, Katie Joy. Now, this is the thing that I have issues with. There are 3 lawyers on her file here, but they, there have still been issues with being able to get anything done. Now, what's happening? We've got this correspondence here, which is from 7M. Then we've got these two. Now, these top 2, affidavit of attorney and correspondence, are currently not accessible. Now, they're obviously protected for some reason. Hello, Vedandra. They're under protection for some reason. Maybe the court's going to make a decision on it. I don't know. It's really unusual, though, that an affidavit of an attorney, unless there is, I don't know, some really confidential information, would be kept quiet. Even the correspondence is really bizarre. However, what we do have, no, she's not. Well, as far as I know, Totally Jane, she's not been sued by somebody else, but there is some other stuff happening. And she has been doxing people, apparently. So we're going to look at that soon because I think I've got Reddit up and everything. So it's been crazy. And when you think that all of this has been happening in the background, with all of this going around in the background, it's been very interesting to see how she's been playing out online. Vedandra says, hope everyone is good. I loved your walk with me. Never been to Australia, so it's nice to see the streets and everything. Well, I'm glad, Vedandra. I wasn't really sure how much you wanted to see. And, yeah, I'll try and post some more stuff as I go. Sometimes I forget, but I remembered that day. Totally Jane says, I haven't kept up with her, so I don't know what she's been doing. She's been doing the same old, Totally Jane. Nothing's changed. So this was on this was a letter from, I love this seal here. Look at the it's an S, Stabbed Law. Hello, underprivileged. Sorry for bothering you. I want to try offer promotion offer. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah, okay, whatever. Right. So, she says, Dear the Honourable Carrie Willis, the purpose of this correspondence is to inform the court, pursuant to your order dated the 6th, October 6, 2023, of outstanding discovery issues in the above-mentioned court case, which is set for an in-person hearing on the 15th of November at 10 a.m. Counsels for the plaintiffs and defendants have met and have gone over each of the plaintiff's requests and found the following still to be outstanding. So they're still looking to see what's outstanding. So plaintiff's interrogatory 9, which is the number of followers and subscribers defendants have purchased since 2020. Each member who provided information to the defendants, that's number 11. Interrogatory 12. Again, who she shared information with. So who she told. Interrogatory 14. Whom defendants Catherine Paulson and without shared information regarding Melanie Kelly and Dean Wilkin. Any of the reporters that she shared information with, that's 15. 16, any third party she shared information with. 17, what information was provided to you to support your statement that 7M Films and Robert Shin are involved in human trafficking? What information was provided to her supporting the statement that 7M Films is a cult? What was provided supporting that the worst part of this cult is that they're preying on black dancers, exploiting them, and then making them believe that everyone is made at them because they are black. She doesn't give up her sources. Remember, she's a journalist, says Totally Jane. What information was provided to you supporting the statement that B- was a victim of the Shins and that he was able to lure Miranda in? Interrogatory 40. What information was provided to you supporting your statements that the Clippers are cutting ties with 7M? 41. What information was provided supporting the statement that 7M film dancers are all falsely married to their spouses and that they are not allowed to live with each other? Then for production of documents, produce all correspondence in which defendants discuss 7M Films and its affiliates with third parties, correspondence which the defendants discussed Shin, correspondence where Miranda was discussed, any correspondence where James Derrick and his affiliates were discussed, produce any and all documents for Catherine Mansky-Paulson from January 2020 to present, produce all and any tax documents for Without a Crystal Ball for all and present. So the reason why they want to know the tax documents is A, they want to know whether there is any money there because, you know, you can't polish a turd. So how, if she is found guilty, they need to know that there is going to be money there. And second of all, they want to know whether how much money has been made off her talking about them. So, you know, you can't polish a turd. And don't forget, she's been bragging about having a Beamer. So will they go and try and get the Beamer or the house instead? You know, what do they do? What can be, you know, what assets does she have that if she was to lose, 7M could get hold of? And plus, remember the company, and then if the company is not liable, then the company directors are liable, i.e. Katie Joy. So any contracts that she's entered into with third parties, all communications regarding the production of the HBO documentary, any communications regarding the Netflix, any contracts regarding the production of Netflix contract. And then please see plaintiff's memorandum law to support its motion to compel, along with plaintiff's reply memorandum in support of its motion to compel regarding legal reasoning for each individual request, as this has not changed since the plaintiffs filed their motion. And then that is it. So, as I said, there has been a response to that, but that is being kept private for now. So you have to wonder what is in there that they want to do, that they want to keep private. You know, so we can't access it, but there has been some documents in there. So interesting. So while all of this is going on, I did post something where she talked about her lawyers were taking, charge of everything. There's been 30 posts in the last 24 hours. It's crazy. For somebody that says they're not bothered, somebody's really bothered. So let's just wait for this. I'm just going to wait for this to all load. So we'll start down here, I think. All right. So she's been calling people out, unfortunately, and have been doxing people. It's alleged. So this is her Instagram. So there's a lot more here, but this KJ will fight to keep her stuff private while posting everything she can find on others. Hypocrite. Did the tardy lawsuit mention KJ? Yes, it did, Vedandra. It did mention KJ. Interestingly enough, she's supposed to be just deposed, and that has been deferred. So yes, there is so much happening behind the scenes. So it says, how did you fall for these terrific lies about me? People don't want to believe true lies in their own anyway. And then she's got posted about brainwashing. I think it's mostly brainwashing from people who aren't happy in their own lives. If I say I like cats, they call me a dog abuser. Never thought of this about you, but there are many quick to believe whatever opinions are loud voices like Cody Brown. I have trust and boundary issues in therapy. I learned I place trust in many of the wrong people. Sorry they sucked you in. Hope you are in a real world Hope you are in the real world where I am, just a mum that reports on cults and abuse. She's in the real world? I don't think so. Does giving them more attention create more backlash? I get backlash either way, and I never discuss them. Sometimes I address it, and I'm allowed to talk about it, what I want to talk about. The biggest way to upset me is to tell me to calm down or tell me to be quiet. I have a voice, and I want to use it. Not saying these rumors are true, but probably the same way you fall for Biden's lies. Wendy, it sounds like you need to go outside and touch the grass, as the cult of haters say about me. The rumors aren't true. They are false. Stop calling them rumors. I have previously recommended some podcasts and channels related to cults and polygamy. Moving forward, I am not and will not make any recommendations. I also will not watch or engage on other channels on these topics. Viewers, please watch what you want to watch. My hands are full with my research and constant tips from sources that I don't have time to consume other creators' content at this time. I have a select handful of creators that enjoy when I have time. I hope you do too. Number of hours I spend thinking or worrying about the frivolous lawsuit filed against me equals 0. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being concerned, I will lose. I am minus whatever that big number is. They are also obsessed with a frivolous lawsuit against me and really actually believe I'm worried about it or even care. I don't worry about it and I don't care. My lawyers deal with it for me because it's baseless. Really? And that's why she's got all these documents outstanding? I'm in love with Josh Duggar comment is enough to put a fork in your eye. Josh Duggar is one of the most evil people I've ever covered. And then she's got... someone says, I have blood relatives that think God sent Trump. Little G, because I'm agnostic. And she says, if God sent Trump, I'll gladly go to hell. She's currently, it can be jealousy that because you're reporting condemning these sick people. She's currently live streaming and saying that I lied about being AR'd and claiming the man that AR'd me is my victim. It's absolutely disgusting. I'm not watching. Well, how do you know? If you're not watching, how do you know what someone's saying about you? To give her my time, but women don't report because of exactly what I was put through by police. I was accused of being a promiscuous, jealous ex-girlfriend. I never dated him, ever. They use this report to claim I lied about being AR'd. It's what sick people do. The sheep need to educate themselves. You can still follow without jumping off the cliff. So she's talking about sheeples. I think she's talking about her own people there. Donald Trump is the brand new Jesus Christ. Anyway, I wonder if these are the same people that are all Pizzagate. I don't know. I'm not. A good amount of my comments on my videos today are how upset people are with sister wives this season. It should upset you, though. Polygamy is upsetting, and what you are seeing is closer to reality than the previous 17 seasons. Sorry, you were misled and lied to by TLC and the Brown family. It's TV. It's reality TV. It's fake. She says, I do my best to be factual as possible and share my opinions when necessary. I don't know. I get sad when a new person ends up being brainwashed by these people. I get sad when creators start believing this stuff about me. It's so strange that anyone could believe any of this to be true. If someone wants to be successful, just do your job. It shocks me the stuff they actually believe about me. I'm so boring and either working or with my hubby and son. Pretty boring. A sweet email sent from my biggest fan. How do people get so misled and brainwashed that they believe this stuff? Honestly, if you were ever someone that believed this, tell me how you ever fell for these lies. Today, I probably received 15 emails from 2 separate people who are part of these hate groups. They have been falsely convinced that I am a viewer of CSAM, that I'm in love with Josh Duggar, and that I SA children. How the hell do these people come up with this? These are real world. There are real world criminals in this world, and they picked a mum from the Midwest as some criminal mastermind. How do they believe this? It's so false and defamatory and disgusting. The group members also threatened to sue me for stalking and harassing them. And then she goes, narcissisms are like, yeah, I hurt you, but now you hate me, so I'm the true victim. Hey, short order. So then she's got some more on the Browns. So, yes, there has been some. So she's on the Platts here. And she's been claiming about her ADHD and anxiety. She's on Robin Brown. She put the cat up. Apparently, Darwin for president. And now she's saying that Micah was on Watch What Happens Live last night playing the bartender. Andy asked Micah about the rumors related to Ethan cheating on Olivia. Micah said it's the other way around. And, of course, she is picking out that the Browns have got new paintings. So, yes, there's been so much happening. We're going to scroll down a little bit further. I mean, we're still on the 31st here. She stopped somebody, arrested twice, only guilty once. This is who's running the H group, stalking and harassing me. She left comments on my Facebook page, DM'd me from her real account, linked to her real picture and real life. Nice try. She also left me threats on my Facebook last night, but I'm sure that was fake. Right, I'm not going to say the name. Don't worry, she's going live to play the victim, collect super chats, and don't forget to follow her channel and page as she covers the exact same content I do. I was going to call the police, but now I'm just getting started. I'm an investigative journalist. She's denying this is her name. It's her. She had a history of theft, so it isn't shocking that she would lie and try to steal my subscribers. This is the bottom of the barrel content creation and scummy behavior. She also has a Patreon where she charges people to talk about me. Gaslighting queen. Let's go. Seriously? Yeah, so apparently she's put a photo out of somebody and named somebody's full name. Then she's gone here. I'm sharing this for the safety of my audience and viewers. I do not want you to fall for this woman and the multiple groups she has created. She has, in my likeness, Vader Jane or Vader Snow has multiple YouTube accounts. She currently admins 4 to 5 groups that use my name and likeness. Groups are all photos. Please swipe to see. She's extremely unwell and has sent threats to harm me. See, what happens is whenever there's something happen, we have she pulls out the kid, she pulls out the cat, or she pulls out the dog, and when all of that fails, then we get the harassment. So she's creating groups to defame me, harass, and threaten me. She's emailed me threats, which you can swipe to see. This is only a small sample of threats she's made. She's accused me of stalking her. I don't know her. She claims I've set her up. I don't know her. How many times do you have to say you don't know her? She's creating groups with names in my likeness, and then these groups and other maliciously spread false allegations of crimes like downloading CSAM, child neglect, child abuse, sending death threats, hacking, and more. The admins of these groups have brainwashed some of the members of this group to actually believe these lies. As a result, groups like this are being swatted and reported to CPS. Hang on a minute. I thought this was somebody else responsible for that. The FBI got involved 2 years ago when a woman named Natalie was calling police and the FBI on me daily for months. Invaders groups have encouraged members to mass report me to CPS. They threaten and harass my followers and leave comments. They harass creators that like me to turn them against me. Today, I learned that multiple admins in these groups have orders I learnt that multiple admins in these groups have orders or protections filed against them. One of the admins has a permanent order for stalking and harassing one of my former viewers. Vader is allegedly in court in January for a TRO that was granted against her. I have not reported her to the police nor filed any orders of protection, but I will if it becomes necessary. I'm urging my followers not to engage with these people. They are extremely unwell and unstable, in my opinion. Please report these groups and pages for harassment on Facebook. Do not join and do not engage. So this was, think about your family, Katie. Does your son deserve a mum that's in fact I can, and will make you pay for defaming me. So this is what she said. But if you look at this date, and OKC picked this up. This is dated the 26th of May. So she's saying, I'm sharing this for the safety of my audience and viewers. But she's sitting on it since May. You know? So it's been such a safety issue that she sat on it for 6 months, nearly. She sat on it for 6 months before sharing it with her viewers. What on earth has she been doing? Why did she need to? Why did we need to do that? Because it doesn't make any sense, you know. Yeah, May. It said. Let's have a look at it. I'll see if I can get it bigger. Yeah, it says May. It said, as I said, EKC picked it up, pointed it out. I missed it. I mean, I have to say, I don't really pay much attention to a lot of. I just look at the stuff and go, oh, gee, she's on a rant again, and I pay no attention really. Let me see if I can make this bigger, and so you can see the date. I hope you can see the date there. I'll see if I can make it bigger again. Oops, that's my few. Oh no, that's it's too big now, isn't it? Made it too big. Hang on. 300%. Oops, there we go. That's the thing there. Let's have a look. So can you see that? It says May. And if you also have a look, it's got underneath the date. It's got the red thing in it. So it's also a blocked email address, so that she's pulled out of her spam or whatever. And she's just she's pulled it out of there. So it's funny because it may have actually been there since May, and she's only discovered it now because she's just gone through her blocked email address, wondering whether there was anything in there. So the other thing is that she's really on a rant about people talking about her, talking about this, and the footage is all over Twitter, and I remember when she said it. I remember seeing her doing it. So the new accusation is that reporting on Josh Duggar criminal trial, which involved testimony of a child, essay equals Katie Joy teaching followers how to essay a child. They also falsely believe I viewed Daisy's destruction and that I'm in love with Josh Duggar. Please be better humans. Because someone says, why did you find it necessary to teach your followers how to digitally essay a child? How could anyone ever watch or support you after that sick behavior? And so she's saying, oh, but I never did it. I just was reporting. But there is footage, and let me just go to my Twitter because it is all over my Twitter, where people are sharing where she's done it. And I'm going to have to put a trigger warning up because it's pretty gross. Pretty gross. Yeah, I know. Totally Jane said she watched Daisy's destruction. I'm sure she said she watched Daisy's destruction. I'm sure she said that. But if you remember rightly, she talked about what you could do with 2 fingers. I don't really want to do it, but you know what I mean. It was it's pretty horrible. And EKC's got a pretty good video out too. As well about hypocrisy, because Katie Jo also talked about how she doesn't go after women's looks, and of course she went after whoever that girl is that she said was Vader. Oh, here we go. Balls has got it. Let's have a look at this because this is really interesting, and I need to put it more new because it's pretty gross. Oops, I remember that. I've just lost it. And she went on about what was in it, and she was. She also says that people say that she gets drunk, but she doesn't get drunk. Like, she's really going hard at the moment. She's going hard about the harassment, and she's going hard against she's going hard at the moment about all of it. And that's the thing that is really, really worrying, is that she obviously has no recollection of what she's said or what she did. Here we go. If I can get this to work. She was very graphic. She was. All right. So this is it. So this is the post. It says that without a crystal balls, right? So this is one. This is the accusation. Okay. And then this is
digitally penetrating. What do you think that sounds like?
Hopefully we can hear it.
Digitally penetrating. What do you think that sounds like? You put your.
Remember this?
5-year-old girl. So you rape a child by sticking your fingers inside their genitals. That's what.
So remember that? I apologize for that, but you know, she obviously forgets reporting on a criminal trial. So apparently, giving all of that graphic detail is actually reporting on a trial. Go back to haters. Go back to the haters cult, where critical thinking isn't required and conspiracies run wild. So she's saying it's not teaching followers. It's apparently quite legitimate to talk like that when you're reporting. You remember that? Oh, I know. I don't think I could actually watch any more, actually, of that. It's just gross. So I'm wondering whether on the 15th, whether there'll be a decision to make those documents public. You remember that short order cook? Yeah, it was pretty freaky, wasn't it? It was pretty yuck. That video was not the only one. There was a stream of others. She was fighting and swearing and blocking people. The usual. Correct. But what I don't understand is why she just doesn't admit to it. Well, she wanted 7M dots public, dots public, but they wanted sealed. So really, I can't see the court opening them. True. The reason why 7M wanted them sealed, wanted them confidential. In fact, they wanted them so only the lawyers could see them, because they didn't even want her to see them, because they didn't want the information blasted over social media by her. I don't think 7M necessarily has an issue with them being public. They have an issue with her doing what she does with them, because we know what she does to all the legal documents, and she'll take out a little snippet here. You know, she'll take a snippet here and she'll take a snippet there, here a snippet, there a snippet, and put them all together and make up a whole new narrative. So, you know, it's really quite scary. So I don't know that they have the other thing is, a lot of times, and I'm talking Australia at the moment, financials are usually redacted anyway. So you wouldn't get to see the financial information anyway. That would what would be called redacted. I think she's under the impression that as long as she doesn't admit to anything, she can never be wrong, and it makes her always the victim. She plays it politically. Some journalist she's. Well, interesting. There was a case just recently where the ABC and a very high-profile, well-respected journalist, investigative journalist, was found guilty of defamation. And while they didn't have to give up their source, they still don't know who it was. They had to hand over all the notes related to that, and they were able to redact out any identifying information so that that source was not identified. But they had to hand over all the information. Now, these are well-respected journalists. If I said to the Australian people the name Willisey, you would know that that's a name that's synonymous with, you know, pretty good journalism. Anyway, they've been found guilty of defamation. They've just had to pay out for defamation. But you know, it was a very interesting case. But while the person was never, while the source was given a pseudonym, the only other person that knew who the source was the judge, but they were under a pseudonym. But all the notes, all that correspondence had to be handed over with all the identifying details redacted. And so you would say, oh, we've got this. Oh, that's redacted. And the judge goes, yep. So there are stuff, you can be a journalist and have to hand over information. So my camera's not happy. Yeah. So it's the son, short order cook. It was his son. Let me just find that. It was Heston, I think. Hessel. But and the interesting thing is that the interesting thing was he was actually awarded $390,000 in defamation. So it was named Josh. The pseudonym, the source was named Josh. So they gave him a name for the case, but that wasn't his real name. So it says former commando Heston Russell was awarded $390,000 in damages in his defamation case against the ABC after a judge rejected the broadcaster's public interest defence. The retired Special Forces major sued the ABC and two of its investigative journalists in the federal court over stories that reported allegations from an ex-US Marine named Josh. Josh made accusations against unidentified soldiers that an unarmed Afghan prisoner was executed in 2012 because there wasn't enough room in a helicopter. Mr. Russell commanded the November platoon at the time and sued based on the 2021 publications being read with an earlier report about the allegations from Josh, who said he heard a pop over radio but was not an eyewitness. Justice Michael Lee had already ruled 10 defamatory imputations were conveyed by the stories. And today, the judge rejected the public interest defence. So whoever Josh is, Justice Lee said he accepted the evidence of journalist Mark Willesee, who testified about his dealings with the source and what other information he possessed at various times. The court previously heard the 2021 article was published following an unsuccessful Freedom of Information request interpreted as having confirmed there was an investigation. Justice Lee said he had no doubt Willesee believed publishing the matter was in the public interest. However, he considered the journalist's reading of the federal FOI request, Josh's allegations and the seriousness of them, Willesee's drafting choices and the lack of the urgency other than a means to vindicate his earlier reporting. Taking his conduct as a whole, his belief was not reasonable in the circumstances, he said during a summary of his 119-page decision. The judge said the 2021 overstated the cognizance of the evidence in the APC's possession and was published following several missteps, including failure to seek a response from the veteran. And that is one of the things in defamation, particularly in Australia, that you must show that you have actually sought a response. So often in newspapers, particularly, you'll see journalists or articles will say, so-and-so has contacted so-and-so for a response, and there has been no reply. That is usually your get-out-of-jail-free card in some ways, because it says we've tried to put these allegations to the person and they've not responded. Generally, it is. So they didn't do that here. So, but he was not satisfied the publication was motivated by any improper intention. Justice Lee perceived Willesee and his editor, Joe Pacini, had become defensive about any criticism of their initial article. after Mr. Russell started to engage publicly about it. He said he'd considered it emblematic of a broader cultural war attack on all other war crimes reporting of our ABC investigations. The court found Mr. Russell himself directed traffic to the publication after he self-identified and sought about taking control of the public narrative. Justice Lee said that he was no shrinking violet in drawing attention to himself and the publications. And then judge criticizes ABC press release. So there's a lot of that. This took 3 years, by the way. 3 years. So to actually to go through. But my point is that you have to. There are certain things that journalists must do. I mean, it's really quite surprising that they made sort of like a rookie error, not being this thing keeps falling down. Not asking for advice, not getting a statement, because that's a rookie error in my book. Hopefully that's going to stay, but now you can't see me. I've got a new camera and it's just not sitting where I want it to sit. So I know. Oh. When you destroy people's lives, you need to be correct. You need to be. I think that's right. Yeah, you do. You have to be accountable. I mean, we're yet to see what the damage has been to some of these people, but look, how hard she's going on at the Browns at the moment is pretty, candy joy. There is reporting on things, and then there's been obsessive about them, and even the Duggars, there's a bit of obsession. Whenever she needs something, she'll pull out something to do with Josh. Like Josh is in jail. He's going to be there for a very long time. You just can't keep pulling out information about him just because, you're having trouble. So I just find it really interesting that she's still going. She's still trying to prove that she's not, that she's done nothing wrong. Yeah, another interesting talking point today is that the Australian Capital Territory, the ACT, they've raised the age of criminal responsibility to the age of 14. They're the first in the country to raise it to 14. Where I live, it's been raised to 12. It has been at 10. The research out at the moment is showing that our brains don't develop until the age of 25. And so really, our brains don't become a fully formed adult till we're 25. And there are some children at the moment that have so much trauma in their little brains that there's so much trauma that's occurred that they have no idea how to cope. And so for some of them, they're committing crimes. And so rather than locking them away, they're saying, and the other thing is the younger the child is, the more chance they are of being able to recover and contribute to society. So they're saying that with all the research that's happening, raising the age of criminality means that by the time they're 14, they can be responsible. Up until then, so currently children under the age of 10 can be prosecuted and sentenced to juvenile detention everywhere except in Northern Territory, where it was raised to 12. Sorry, I thought we'd already raised it, but we haven't. Okay. Under changes, children under the age of 14 will not be held criminally responsible, except with the exception of children aged 12 and 13 who commit a serious and intentional violent crimes. So if it's a serious crime, it will be considered. So they said that the reason why they've done it, they don't have many 10 and 11-year-olds in the system in the ACT. And the authorities need to make sure the kids are being treated and following. That's correct. And that's where I think some of it is falling down. You look at some of the kids that have committed some heinous crimes in the US. A lot of those kids have been crying out for help and they haven't been getting help. So they've done what they can to get attention, which is commit something totally and horrible. And their lives have been absolutely destroyed along with everybody else's. But evidence is showing that even at the age of 14, if they can be treated and with counselling and medication, because in a lot of cases it is mental health related, that there is a really good hope. They expect that they are able to actually make a full recovery and contribute to society. And isn't it better that they contribute to society than be a burden to society? I'm not diminishing that some of these crimes have been horrible, but it's funny, law has really changed my perspective on a lot of things, because I just look at them now and I go, but they're kids. For me, I see them as babies. Sounds more reasonable, but detention centres need to be looked at too. Well, detention centres are a bit of a joke, in my opinion. So I know somebody that was a prison officer. He went to work in juvenile detention and he said, we can't make them do anything. We can tell them they've got to go to court, but we can't make them go to court. If they don't want to go to court, they don't go to court. You know, that has to change. But then that is the same attitude that's happening in school. That is the same attitude that's happening in schools, because teachers don't have power to be able to discipline children anymore. There's a lot of power being taken away from that. And so now we have a group of kids that have no responsibility. They don't want to take responsibility. And nobody can make them do what they don't want to do. Not many consequences for crappy parents, though, if we are looking at kids having trauma. Correct. That's why I think the parents that got arrested over that school shooting was very important, because the parents had actually enabled him from what it looks like, by purchasing him a firearm. He was obviously he's mentally ill, obviously. I mean, I look at that kid, I just want to give him a big hug and wrap my arms around him and say, you need somebody that's going to give you what you need. You know, the parents enabled him. They didn't do anything to stop him, you know, and, you know, there have been parents of people that have done heinous crimes who have also run the authorities and said, my child's going to do something, my child's going to hurt somebody, they need help. And the authorities have said, we can't do that. And then when they've gone and done the thing, they've said, we've been trying to get help. Yes, there's a problem there too. I agree. Makes that saying, it takes a village to raise a child, very true. It needs a total support system. Yeah. And I think in some ways society has contributed to that. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, even back when, when I was growing up, my mum was still home when we got home from school. I know society was different, but you could go to a friend's house and their parent was home. You could go and eat tea and everyone, families were eating together. They hung out together. They did things together. Then families would go out together. Communities would get together. We don't have that so much now. There's a lot of, because people are just really busy. Have we made life so complicated? We're talking about the cost of living. I've got a friend who lives in the country of Western Australia. Whose husband now has retired early, took early retirement. They grow all their own veggies. He makes bread every day. They make their butter. They essentially make just about everything. She buys her meat in bulk every 2 or 3 months, and she cooks. Every Sunday is her cooking day, and she cooks up a storm. Like, that's old-fashioned values. Short order cook says yes. They say we can't do anything about a child who is a threat before the event. When the child acts out, all hell breaks loose. Yes. I mean, if you look at that story of the Ethan kid, who's the 14-year-old, there were so many warning signs that nobody noticed. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the school teachers and the administrators need to take some responsibility for that as well, because they, again, knew the signs. You just can't blame a 14-year-old for something like, I can't see how you can blame a 14-year-old for something like that. He had to have been very, very, very desperate and needing attention and crying out to do something like. I think we have a generation who've been brought up by parents who want a quiet life and give everything they can or make excuses for them. True. I mean, I don't know what because my kids grew up without a phone or iPad, to entertain them. I had a bag of cars, body cam videos at Mins. So, yes, that's true. Yeah, and that's the other thing, everyone is so scared to do something because we live in a litigious society as well. If you do something, you might hurt something. So a teacher the other day in a public school was breaking up a fight, and he put his arm out to stop one child. He just put his arm out between the two kids, and the kid ran into his arm, and then the kid tried to say, "You hit me." And it went all around the school that this teacher had hit the student. And he said, "Well, I didn't hit you. I just put my arm out to stop you." But no, that's not right. "Oh, no, you hit me. You hit me, sir. You hit me." Stuff like that can destroy a reputation of a really good teacher. You see it now, and you see it in the workplace where people will blame everybody else rather than take the blame themselves as well. I mean, I'm helping somebody at the moment with a workplace issue, and there are many moving parts here, and there's failures at many different parts, but they've put all the blame onto this one person, and they've said, "You need to tell us why you shouldn't be sacked." Well, this happened. I can only control this section of it. I can't control what everyone else was doing, and I can't control. Like, the kid knew his parents would back him regardless. My kids wouldn't have tried because I didn't accept their word for it. Oh, look, my kids always got into more trouble. It was if my kids knew that if they ever got in trouble at school, they'd get into more trouble at home. So, and that was what it was like, you know. But totally, Jane, I still don't know why they bought him. You know, why they did what they did. But you know, have we? I sort of fear for the next generation. I fear when these current crop of kids are all grown up, what it's going to be like. Maybe they'll go, we need to have rules back into play. Maybe it will go back to what it was when we were growing up. I can only hope. Anyway, I'm probably going to head to bed. I think I got another business. So tomorrow's my only day that I have at home. So I'm not studying at the moment. Well, until the end of the year, I'm technically still a student because the school year finishes in December. So, but from January, yeah, but not everyone can't be victims at some point in time. At some point in time, someone's going to stand up and be accountable. So from January, I'm technically on a sabbatical for 12 months. I just need to breathe and I need to get some money behind me to finish off. But as I said, I'm helping somebody with a workplace issue, and it's I'm rather enjoying it because this is a case where nobody's taking responsibility. They've even mucked up the whole we want to get rid of you process badly, and are trying to put the poo back into the horse, but the poo's gone, and they are just not very happy and really playing hardball. And I'm sort of I've just been having, I don't know. I said to the person, I said, I know this isn't fun. I know that this isn't fun for you, but I said, this is hilarious. I said, I'm just having so much fun. Like I sent them a whole page. The first paragraph was what was wrong. They sent minutes of meetings. The meeting wasn't accurate of what had happened. Sent them the corrections in the first paragraph and the last paragraph, and then put a whole pile of other stuff in the middle. And they sent back an email and said, you haven't told us what you wanted corrected. And it was like, yes, we have. Now go jump. Anyway, I've got to go now. I will catch you later. And thank you for watching. Make sure that, yeah, you have a good day and night or whatever it is, wherever